If you aren't getting interviews and you're wondering why your resume is not converting, then I want you to watch this training because I am going to tell you all of the reasons why your resume is not getting the interviews you so desperately deserve and desire. So stay tuned. Hello, I'm Sarah Curto. I am your friendly neighborhood career coach. As someone who recruited for over 15 years, who's read like 100,000-ish resumes, it's a lot. I did the work so that you didn't have to. I know so many behind the scenes secrets of what goes on during the hiring process. And then someone who has coached for 5 years, I also know the ways in which you kind of get in your own way, the way you self-sabotage. And so that's why I come here every week to drop a new training, to either share the behind the scenes secrets or the patterns and things that I see as a coach so that you can stop dreading your work days and find work you love. So follow me on Instagram at Sarah, the career coach. I also share a lot more about my life and daily inspiration and about my writing process because I have written a first draft of a book. Also subscribe and hit the notifications. You know the deal, all of that stuff. Okay. So in my opinion, the worst thing about the job search is the black hole. And you know what I'm talking about. You send out your resume and it's like literally you're sending it into the black hole because you hear almost nothing back almost all of the time. And if you do, it's usually that form letter where you're like, okay, well, did actually anyone see this? Or is this like an instant rejection? Like, am I that bad that I get this instant rejection? And it's all well and dandy if you're getting some interview requests. Like, it's like, okay, I can deal with it a little bit, but none. It's demoralizing to the nth degree. Am I right? So if you aren't getting interviews, I want to tell you why. Now, obviously it is nuanced. Okay. There is like all of the nuances and all of the things in particular situations and particular industries and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Obviously that's the case, but there are certain common trends that we see. And these are the ones that I noticed over my 15-year career as a recruiter, hiring individuals, and then also now as a coach, being on the other side, but I'm still very heavily active with my HR community. So even hearing things that they are saying, and then the stats of it all. Okay, the first reason why your resume is not getting you any interviews is your formatting is off. Now, I see this too often where people will come to me and say, I'm not getting any interviews and I don't get it. We just had this with an Academy member who her and I knew her resume was like standard, like it was super amazing, gold standard, super amazing. And in the fall, it was converting before things at work changed and she stopped her or paused her search. But now in the winter, when she decided to reactivate it, she's gotten nothing. And she sent me her resume and it was infographic. So what does an infographic resume mean? It's just kind of like one of those pretty resumes. You see them. If you go on Pinterest, you go on anywhere, it's going to be the pretty resume with the columns and maybe there's a table or it just looks very pretty. Like you have your education on one side, your experience on one side. It just looks amazing. And you may even hear other career coaches who say that they have leveraged these style resumes to get interviews at the top organizations. But here is the problem. In many industries and in many regional locations, and I'm talking Canada especially, we do not have sophisticated enough applicant tracking systems to parse and read those resumes, which means that your resume is not getting noticed by an applicant tracking system, which means a human person cannot see it. And it's really, we're doing all that prettiness for the human person, but if we're not even getting them to see it, what's the point? So the moral of the story, to be on the safe side, to match the majority of those 200 applicant tracking systems, is no tables, no columns, no fancy formatting. In fact, it can still look good. Like, that's the thing. We can still make a very aesthetically pleasing resume, which is why I think you should grab my 2 free resume templates that work. They get past the applicant tracking systems. They excite hiring managers and recruiters, the human readers who are reading it. Grab them below by grabbing the link in the details of this. Okay. Formatting is off. The second reason why your resume is not getting you interviews is it's too detailed. So this is where we have too much information jammed in there. So the recruiter is just overwhelmed. So potentially you're getting past the applicant tracking system, but now we are reaching human eyes. And an overwhelmed set of eyes cannot skim, because that's what they're doing. They're not looking at a resume to read it. They're looking at it to skim it. If we overwhelm their eyes, they are an instant no to interviewing you, because they cannot skim it. They just don't skim. They skip whole parts. So what I want you to do is I just want you to pull it back a bit. I want you to think about what you did in your job. And I want you to take out all of the details that aren't necessary for this next job you want. Focus on the job you want, not focus on the job you have. Now, I want you to make sure that they know enough to get interested, because I want the moral of the story here is your resume is not designed to get you the job offer. The resume is designed to get you the interview, which means it just needs to have enough detail that makes sense for the job you're looking for, like the hiring manager is looking for you or considering you for. I'm making a lot of mistakes today. I'm not stopping. You can be perfect, you can be imperfect and give perfect information, which is what I'm doing today. But the interview is where a lot of those details belong. So I want you to make sure that they don't like just way down your resume, way down a skimmer's eyes, where they don't even want to read your resume at all. Okay, that was reason number 2, too detailed. Reason number 3 is your resume is too generic. This is when you're like bored sick of your resume, or you don't have a lot of time, and you're like, I'm just going to make it fit a lot of things. So this is where we are applying to a lot of different jobs with one resume, because we just want to make it super easy to like easy apply, click and apply, blah, blah, blah. So what this happens is you're diluting your fit. You end up not fitting a single thing in your attempt to fit all of the things. It doesn't have the appropriate keywords, so it's harder to get past that applicant tracking system. And if by chance it does, and a hiring manager or recruiter does see it, they can't see you doing their job, because they have a specific job, not a generalized job in mind, which leads to no interviews. So moral of the story, design your resume for one type of job. And if you're going after 2 different types of jobs, sales and marketing, instead of having a wish-washy resume, have a sales resume, have a marketing resume. And this goes across for more than just sales and marketing, all of them designed for one job, not all the jobs. Okay. Reason number 4 on why you're not getting interviews. I've mentioned this throughout. Keywords. So this is twofold. I'm going to talk about the applicant tracking system issue first. So this is where you do not have enough keywords. This is where we can't get past that applicant tracking system because it is not ranking or scoring you well enough for the job, meaning a human eye will not see your resume because the keywords aren't coming up. So I want you to watch that ATS training. I'm going to link it up there so that you can learn how to use keywords effectively. The second way that we can mess up with keywords is we focus too much on keywords. So yes, you get past the applicant tracking system, but then you're faced with the human reader. the recruiter and the resume. And when they read it, there's no cohesiveness. Your sentences feel a little disjointed because it's too keyword heavy. So you do have to remember that a human reader is still going to be looking at it, and we want to ensure that it feels like a story. We want them to be excited. We want them to see you doing their job, not you just as a bunch of keywords. Okay, to recap, the 4 reasons why your resume is not getting you interviews. Number 1 is your formatting is off. Number 2 is it's too detailed. Number 3, it's too generic. And number 4, you're too focused on keywords or not focused enough on keywords. But honestly, the best way to get an interview next week is to grab my free interview template or free resume templates, and also the free resume writing guide. So I give you 2 templates, and then in the guide, I give you an overview of the 3 steps that you need to follow to write a winning resume so that you're getting those interviews. So you're no longer sending your resume into the black hole, because that, just think about how good it would feel when you can send a resume confidently out and know that you won't hear back 100% of the time, but you'll hear back more than 0% of the time. You should be hearing back a good 25 to 50 to 75% of the time. So the link to grab that is below. And if you like this training, make sure you subscribe, because next week I'm back with another great one. Take care. Have a great night or day or morning, whenever you're watching this. And I will maybe not be so perfectly imperfect next week. See ya. Bye.